Here's the thing. This is no secret. Women do not have an orgasm as often as men do. They just don't. Most of the time, they do not. Just the way we're developed and wired, women do not always get to the finish line like men do. And obviously, that can create resentment in a sense. That, well, he's getting his, but why am I not getting mine?
Here's a question for you. Is marriage overrated?
Why aren't people getting married anymore?
A new Pew Research poll found that 2 in 5 young adults think marriage is an outdated tradition.
Marriage rates are at their lowest right now.
Is marriage really even worth it?
More than half of marriages end in divorce.
If you get married, you have to be stuck with this person for the rest of your life, right? That's why you get married. So that's why it's declining. Why would you get married if you want to have just one partner when you can have multiple?
Marriage is stupid.
Welcome to the Married AF podcast, the self-proclaimed greatest marriage relationship podcast in the world. We're your hosts, Matthew and Monica Powers, and we're talking about something that needs a disclaimer. We do this every now and again. So if you're listening to this in public, out loud, at the office, on public transit, because we have people all over the place. If you're listening to this with children or family members or someone who you could get embarrassed by, you may want to put some earbuds in.
Because?
Put in your AirPods, put in your Beats. This conversation is probably not suitable for children unless you want to have those types of conversations. Because ultimately,
tell me,
this comes from a conversation that you and I had like 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
It just kind of made me start thinking.
Now I'm wondering.
Good. We were watching a show.
What did I say?
You say all sorts of amazing things. But we were watching a show, and there was marriage troubles in the show, and there was infidelity in the show, and sex issues in the show. And you asked a question, and it just led to a conversation from there. And we talked about sex for probably an hour. And it wasn't hey, we got to do this to get to the deed. But it was just a truthful conversation about sex, our viewpoints on it, why people may do some of the things that they do. And it was, I thought, a very constructive conversation, which led me to believe I don't think people are having those types of conversations about sex when it comes to being married and their sexual relationship with their spouse. I don't think people are having in-depth, real conversations about what it's like and how they feel and their confidence level and their experience. I don't think they're experiencing or having those types of conversations without it being I hope this leads to sex later, but to just have a real conversation about sex. Does that make sense at all? Did I just spew a bunch of nonsense?
You did.
Or did that
a
make
lot of things.
any sense whatsoever?
All I've done is decide what show are you talking about.
It was the one.
Reese Witherspoon?
Yes. That one.
Big Little Lies?
Big Little Lies. That was it.
Yay!
That was the one. That was the show I was thinking about.
Okay, now tell me what you said all over again. I'm just kidding.
You're funny.
I got a joke.
But it just led me to think of, I don't think people are having those types of conversations. I mean, we went really in depth, very intimate, in high detail about different things and sexual aspect. And we're not going to dive into all that here. But I think it's such a good, healthy conversation to have.
Now I'm trying to go back. What did all the
spin
things
through that Rolodex and figure it out. Well, we talked about sex and we talked about the importance of it.
We talk about stuff like that all the time.
We do, and it's very, very healthy that we do. But I think my biggest point was we talked about it not in a discussion of, hey, let's make sure we do. I'm hoping this leads to sex later. But
talking about sex to get sex.
Yes, this was more of a conversation of, hey, let's just openly kind of talk about it. And we talked, about sex in general. We talked about what we like, maybe what we dislike, the things that we are enjoying about it, how we feel, how close it brings us together, and just how impactful it is for us.
I remember this conversation now.
And it was a very good conversation. Like we used to go, you pause the show to ask a question.
Yes, I was irritated.
You were irritated. You asked a question, and it led to an hour-plus conversation where we never went back to the show. We never steered off of the conversation. And at the end of it, it was like, hey, that was a great conversation. All right, bam, let's go back to where we were that led us down this path. But I thought it was a very good, healthy thing for us to talk about. So I wanted to kind of talk about, most people that will talk about their sex lives until they just stop.
Wait, what?
Most people will talk about their sex life until they just don't anymore. They let life get in the way. They let things happen. They let issues just kind of happen. They talk about it until they don't. They talk about it
with each other.
Until they just don't anymore.
Because I thought you were going down the road of people talk about their sex life to, other people. And I know that happens too, but... That
definitely does happen.
That's just not where you were going with that.
That's not where I was going. I was talking about married couples, husband and wife, talking about their sex life with each other. They will do it until they just don't anymore.
But why?
They let life happen. And I've got some reasons as to why.
Oh.
I've got... so I did a little research on it. All right, so what are some of the biggest things that couples need to be talking about when it comes to their sex life? And why is it happening? Why are they not talking about it? What can happen if they ignore it? And then maybe some ways to be able to actually fix it.
Ooh.
So the very first one, if you're interested at all,
tell me,
is a discrepancy in their sexual desire. How often, how much, how long? Everyone always thinks, well, there's, a set amount of time. If we go 13 minutes and 18 seconds, that's the benchmark. We're going at it, and all right, I'm almost there. I just got to hold out. I got to hit that mark, because that's what, whatever said is the magic number. I don't know.
I don't think there's a magic number.
There isn't a magic number. That's the key. It could be, and we've talked about the studies in the past. It can be 30 seconds. It can be 30 minutes. It doesn't matter. It depends on where you two, and what is the moment calling for?
I think those statistics broke it down to country.
They did. And I can't remember the country that was 40. Was it Turkey? There was only 40 something seconds, and that was it. And that was tremendous. And it was hysterical. What the heck's going on in Turkey?
Are they all 18?
Yeah. What's happening in Turkey? But ultimately, having a mixed match idea of what sex should be like, how often should we be having it? What's the frequency and the interest between the spouses? One wants it more than the other wants it. And exactly what does that look like, and what happens when that happens? Because, the truth is there can be life circumstances that happen. There can be, kids come into play, work comes into play, stress comes into play. There can be hormonal differences. As we get older, hormones shift a little bit and they change just a little bit. Different stress, different trauma, all sorts of different things can lead to that. But I think one thing that we don't talk about, and a lot of people don't want to talk about, is that hormonal shift. As women get older.
This was also part of our conversation.
Yes. As women get older.
Actually, that wasn't that conversation. This was
a different one?
Last weekend.
Maybe.
When we were going to get pedicures.
It was, and they were incredible, and I loved getting pedicures.
We know you like pedicures.
I love pedicures.
You need to be endorsed by somebody because you want to keep talking about them.
Sure.
But we were saying that guys in their 20s, that's like their prime, where they just want to have sex all the time.
It is.
And for a woman, it's not until like 40s.
When a woman hits 40, that's like her sexual peak. That is her prime.
And all I kept thinking was, yowza. Because I was pretty crazy in my 20s.
That you were.
That was my BC life.
It was your BC life, and you were
a lot of stupid in my BC life.
You were a little wild, a little crazy.
You're being very nice right now.
I'm being nice. I'm not going to dive into all of that. We don't. That's a conversation for you and I, not for the world to hear. But
dear Lord, if a female is not until their 40s, and a dude's in their 20s, it makes sense why women are called cougars. They go after the younger guys because they can keep up with them.
The younger men can keep it because that's just biologically, that's who we are. That's how we are.
And the older guys go for the younger girls because they're
not in that.
Not all of them
no, I mean, this
isn't there yet.
This isn't a hard and fast rule. Well, this is everybody. This is how it is.
No.
But the vast majority, this is how it is. And so, yeah, this is why women are, chasing after that younger man when they get older, because they're in their sexual peak, and the younger men are. And then you see vice versa. The older men are going after the younger women because the younger women have not gotten there yet. And the older men are not looking for it as often. So, I mean, that's totally a part of it that can happen. But, it's not talked about of, hey, I need this more. It's an uncomfortable conversation. It's an uncomfortable conversation for anyone to go to their spouse and say, we're not having enough sex. How are they going to react? What are they going to say? Well, they're not going to be shut out forever.
I would be absolutely appalled if you came to me and said, we're not having enough sex.
Would you?
This is the face I would give you.
Why?
Why?
I want to hear why.
Said it. It's not anybody's business. I'll say this. I'm a woman in my 40s.
That you are. And it is totally true. Yes, you have hit a peak. And it's awesome. But there's this idea of, all right, we need to determine what is normal for us, because every person's different. So have those conversations. What happens whenever it's ignored? Obviously, resentment builds. There's a wedge that's dividing you, and it digs deeper and deeper and deeper.
And for the women, if you're not giving it to your man, he's going to go and get it from somewhere else.
He most certainly is.
Whether it's
not the right answer. Not supposed to, but it will happen.
An affair or porn or having to please himself, that gives him other options of thinking about things that he might not need to be thinking about. So you're kind of the cause of him having to stray.
And what happens is, like, the higher desire partner, the one who wants it all the time, well, now they feel unwanted. And then the lower desired partner who is not wanting as odd, now they are feeling inadequate and they feel pressure, and you're just slowly further and further and further apart is what happens with it. And avoidance will replace intimacy.
Now, there are times when things can't happen, like sex can't happen because of some kind of medical issue. Like, it was rough when I had the car wreck, surgeries. Those are things that you necessarily plan to interrupt any kind of lifestyle that you have. That things like that happen. You have to understand this is a temporary thing. This is not a long-term thing. Like when a woman has a baby, at least 6
weeks before you can do anything. 6 weeks is a long time.
And sometimes when they're pregnant, there's issues in the pregnancy.
Yes, and that's part of it.
Like
again,
with Elkie, I was in and out of the hospital all the time.
All the time, and that's a short-term obstacle
this
that you have to
forever.
get over. But it's not forever. So what do you do to be able to fix this? Obviously, you got to talk about it. You don't bring it up accusatory at all. You say, hey, just knows we're on different pages. Like, I want it often. I am desiring you all the time, and it seems like you're not desiring me. Hey, let's figure this out. What's going on? And it could be a number of different things. Maybe there's stuff going on at work.
What can I do? What can I do to make you want me more?
That's a great question.
Because I want you all the time. But what can I do to make you want me more?
That is a great question to ask your spouse. I would say anyone who is feeling any of this, ask her, what can I do? That's a great question. I love that. But talk about it. Talk about it. Obviously needed that. Next one is orgasm inequity.
What?
Here's the thing. And this is no secret. Women do not have an orgasm as often as men do. They just don't. Most of the time they do not. Just the way we're developed and wired, women do not always get to the finish line like men do. And obviously that can create resentment in a sense. That, well, he's getting his, but why am I not getting mine? And it can be seen as being selfish and not wanting to please your spouse. And to that, I would say, hey, you got to make sure you please your spouse. Do everything you can to please your spouse in every possible way. Some of the biggest reasons as to why this happens is just a complete lack of education.
I'm sorry, what?
A lack of sexual education in this area of how
For men?
For men, how do I make sure my wife finishes?
Oh.
Men don't fully understand that. We're not versed in all of that. We don't understand everything that needs to happen for a woman to be able to make sure she gets to the end of the line.
That's when you have to obviously communicate. If you know what tickles his pickle, you need to know what makes her do her thing.
And listen, women, I would say this. If this is you, just coming from a male perspective here, he would love to know what it is you want. At all times. He would love, love, love to know what you want. Tell him what you're feeling. Tell him what feels good. Tell him what you're needing. Tell him, be direct and say, I want you to do this.
Yes. And just because you're done doesn't mean I'm done.
That is true.
Get to work.
That is true. I mean, just because you finished, man.
And maybe you are just in, I mean, I understand quickies. It's not, both of you won't get there. Especially if you got to hide in the closet for 5 minutes because your kids won't leave you alone. And you just got to get it done so you can get it off your mind, but come back to it later. Fine. I get that. But if you are one of those guys that are just flash, 100-yard dash, and you can't just, you're a Minuteman, you need to find other ways to help her before that minute is up. You ain't got to dive head first in.
Well, listen, I would even say if your minute is up, men, there are other ways you can still help your wife out. If you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Just because you finished doesn't mean there are not other things that you can do to help stimulate your wife so she can finish as well. And you know what? You may have to swallow a little bit of pride. You may have to, just shrug it off a little bit and just, you know what? No matter what, I got to make sure that she is fulfilled in this manner. I'm going to do whatever it takes.
I completely
And you're going to have to do that, man. So reasons it's not talked about is, there's a feeling amongst women, apparently, that they would be emasculating their husband.
I'm sorry, what?
Emasculating him, making him feel less than to. That's why, women faking orgasms is a very, very common thing. They'll fake it. Men think they did a good job and they didn't do diddly squat. Nothing whatsoever. And what happens if you ignore this? Eventually, again, resentment's going to build in. There's going to feel, one person satisfied, one other, oh, he doesn't care about me. And it's going to build insecurities and all sorts of problems that you don't want. If you just swallow a little bit of pride, men, and make sure she's getting everything that she needs.
Didn't we just have an episode on being fake?
We did. This is being fake. Be honest with them. I just speaking from a male perspective.
You're gonna die on the inside, and your thoughts about your spouse are gonna die with you.
Just speaking from the male perspective here, I would love nothing more than you tell me this. This is exactly what I want.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I know you do, and I'm very thankful for that. But speaking for all men,
don't do this.
If women are listening to this, be direct with him. Just tell him. I mean,
I promise you, he will like being told what to do.
We like when you take control of the situation. We love when you take control. So if you're just direct with him, and you just tell him, "Hey, you're doing this," he's going to love that. He is going to absolutely.
Yeah.
Love that. Another huge one, and I think this is the most important one of all the ones we're going to talk about.
Okay.
The non-sexual intimacy. I think this is the most important one that goes unnoticed.
Do people not? Maybe this is a education thing too, that people don't think that even not even foreplay is a way to get like the non-sexual stuff.
Something as simple
like
as this. This is huge. Just
holding hands.
Holding hands. This is something this simple, just to hold hands like this. This is non-sexual intimacy. This is bringing you close together. Mm-hmm. It's just saying, "Hey, I'm thinking about you," and that's Huge.
If I'm sitting next to you, I will sometimes just cross my legs and have my foot just rub up against your leg.
And
that will get your attention. You'll be like, oh, she's touching me. Hey, baby. And grab my hand. Like, okay.
That is one of my favorite things that you do. Absolute one of my favorite things that you do. But it's little bitty things like that we don't think about.
I didn't even know you noticed, really.
I do notice.
Aww.
Oh, I absolutely love it. It's one of my absolute favorite things that you do. But something so simple as that, just rubbing your foot on his leg. Man, just put your arm around her. Play with her hair. Rub her shoulders. Holding her hand. Rub her leg. Anything like that. Not to lead to sex, but just saying, I want to be close to you. I just want to be near you. That's what I want. Men always think in a sexual manner of, hey, this better lead to what.
It can.
And it most certainly can, but don't do that
immediately.
Don't do that with.
It's not.
No. Don't do this with that end in mind. Just, I want to be close to her. I want to touch her. This gets women going. You just pulling the naked man ain't going to work every time.
Do a little slow dance with her.
Yes.
A long hug.
A long hug. A long kiss.
A very long embrace, as in a more excited to see you, maybe a little bit more romantic.
Oh, totally. I mean, that's incredibly important to do that.
Pause.
Don't confuse sex with affection. Don't confuse sex with affection at all. It gets chaotic. Non-sexual contact or connection will fade first if we allow it to. Say
that one more time.
Non-sexual connection will fade so quickly and so fast if we allow it to. This stuff will fade.
Oh, absolutely.
So quickly.
It's intentional.
Oh, yeah. It's totally intentional. And men may use sex to seek closeness, but women are different than men. They're different.
Sex is not necessarily close. I mean, it's physical and you're really close to each other, but that's not the same.
No, it's not the same at all. So why don't we talk about it? Again, because it's different needs, and we're afraid to talk about the different needs that we have and how important they are. Women have a need of security, and part of this is women be able to feel secure. That you're going to touch them, you're going to hold them, you're going to love them, not with a physical desire at the end of it. That's not at all what it is all about. Sex becomes mechanical, transactional, or disappears if this doesn't happen.
I think you said something in the last episode about being robotic.
Yes, I did.
And my mind went, crazy places. But can you give me an example, since this is a bit more of an in-depth, as in when you mechanical? Isn't that the word you just
mechanical,
used?
robotic. Yeah. Perfect example. All right, baby, it's a little after 2:00. Kids are busy. Let's shut this podcast down. Get on the couch. Let's go.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
That's
kind of the, and there are times that can be great.
Yeah,
but most
if
of the time
built
not.
up some, that extra touching and the hugs, and okay, this is the only time that we have.
Yeah, but if not, if we're just sitting around hanging out, and I said, hey, listen, we got 10 minutes, go get naked. We're doing this now. If that's not built up to, you're not just going to immediately be like, oh heck yeah, let's go. Not all the time. It's going to take a little more of that
Yes, but I also think that with a male saying it to his wife.
Right.
That's never going to happen. Unless you are just a narcissist and, you're Jeff Warrens and you're going to do it when I say you're going to do it no matter what, because I'm the leader.
Yeah. And men, we're not that desirable.
But the moment I could say, hey, this is done. I want you right here, right now. You don't even have to turn the cameras off. You'd be like, wait, what?
Be like, done. Let's go.
Right.
Done. Yeah.
The roles are reversed.
Yes.
It's always going to work.
And that has a rare time and place for that to happen.
Right. But guys, you are not that desirable.
No. We just simply or not. So what are some ways to fix it? We talked about it, holding hands, be intentional, play footsie with each other. I mean, it's such a huge, huge, huge deal. Another big thing, just random compliments, flirty text messages. I mean, when you're not with each other and you can't reach out and hold their hand or anything like that, send them a flirty text. I mean, what a huge step that is. And that's...
Yes. Now, with her, you have to pick and choose what you say.
Give me an example.
Like, just don't... You're so pretty. Well, what if I don't feel pretty today? I've told you this before. I don't care that you think I'm pretty. Today is not the day that I feel pretty. My feelings are real, whether it's true or not.
Right.
My feelings, that's how I feel. Even if I'm the most gorgeous woman in the world, on that day, I still feel ugly. That's how my mind is going to be. Does not matter. So don't send something to her thinking, oh, well, I'm going to tell her she's pretty and then that's all that she needs. No.
So what would be an example of something that a man could send that might be outside of that would go such a long way?
Do something that's going to start a conversation.
Okay.
I've been thinking about you today. And if I get that text message, well, what kind of thinking you doing?
Okay, what you been thinking about?
What you been thinking? Maybe, I know I don't think like most women, but I could also see where that'd be a stop thinking about me like that response from her.
It could be. And if so, there's some deeper rooted stuff to do that, to look into and to work through.
I can't wait to give you a hug. Run those really long hugs. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to be a, aw.
And that's not a, oh my gosh, all he wants to do is have sex with me. It's a, oh, he's really thinking about me. Mm-hmm. It goes such a huge way. Last one we'll talk about is shame-free sex and safe exploration.
Details, please.
Kind of getting back to the robotic side, where, hey, this is the move and the only move we have. This is all we got. This is all we're going to do.
What do you mean?
Saying,
positions?
We're going to go missionary. That's it. That's all we got. We got nothing else in the toolbox, nothing else in the playbook. That's it. That gets very mundane if we allow it. We want to explore. I mean, let's be real. We want to do the weird thing sometimes.
All I think of is Friends. Monica and Chandler. I think she might have been ovulating or something. And Joey's because they were watching Emma.
They were watching Emma, yeah.
And she was in the playpen and Joey comes and gets her. And
you can't have sex with the BABIE?
Yes, that one. But he's like, how did you know? He goes, oh, because you're so lazy.
Can't you get on top
for once? Because his hair was like stuck.
Yes. Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about stuff like that. 'Cause, I mean, we want to get weird.
I mean,
we do. And we want to experiment. We want to get a little weird. We want to have some fun. But we're so afraid of what our spouse might think or what they might say.
You know what's sad? We're so afraid about these stupid little things. We're so afraid to talk about these tiny, minute things that we should talk about. But we're so okay with being fake in front of everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. Your spouse should be the one person you can tell anything to. I mean, anything and everything.
You are the first person I can't wait to tell anything to.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Total same feeling. Cannot wait to tell you about whatever it is.
Whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, whatever's going on. Because even if it's bad, I know you're the person who can help, calm my mind. I know you're the person who can help me through the situation. I know you're the person who can give me advice if I need it or if that's what I'm looking for. I know that you're that person. Well, when it comes to sex, it should be no different. It should be the exact same thing. That I should be able to come with you and say, baby, for whatever reason, this is what I want. And you know what you're going to say? Well, does it match our rules that we've set for ourselves? It does. All right, weirdo. Let's do it. But that's okay.
Try it at least once.
Yes.
I've always heard don't knock it till you try it.
Just give it a shot. The bedroom with your spouse should be the safest place ever to be completely vulnerable and have some fun. Explore each other. You never know what you may actually fall in love with.
And you can be quickly honest with, no, I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah. And I mean, there's, we can grow up with these stigmas. Well, if you like that, those people are weirdos. You may just love it. You don't know. And it may be something that brings you and your spouse closer together. Like, this is the only person in the world that I would be able to experience this with. Unbelievable.
And that would make you want to continue to do it over and over and over.
Like, oh my gosh, he's the only person in the world who thinks that this is okay with me. Oh my gosh, I feel so much safer with him. Yeah, this is kind of crazy, but who would ever thought about it? But he's there with me, and he's going to do this with me. And
as long as he likes it.
Exactly. And that's all that should matter. Mm-hmm. Be able to safely explore together. Talk about it. Unpack the shame together. Crap, I feel a little shameful about this. Well, let your spouse know that it is okay. And I'm going to show you that this is okay. I'm going to let you know, do not feel any shame or guilt about what you're feeling or what you're thinking or what you're desiring.
That is strictly to all the women listening. Because we are so our worst critics when it comes to how we think about our physical appearance. And I've said this before, if you don't like it, turn off the lights. But dudes, you have to step up and go, baby, I like it. It don't bother me. Embrace it.
Embrace it.
Because bodies change over the years.
Embrace it. And it's okay.
Especially after children.
Listen, and it's okay if you really like it. Like, oh my God, that's amazing. I want more of it. Mm-hmm. That's great. That's so, so great to be able to do that. So talk about sex with your spouse a whole lot more. Have those real deep conversations about it. Things you desire, things that you want. Crap, make a list of, hey, here's the stuff that I would like to try. Here's the things that I'd like to do. And go through and mark them off the list. Have fun with each other. Write them all down, put them in a jar, and just pick them out one at a time. Be like, all right, well, tonight it's this one.
Make sure those that go in a safe place where children can find them.
Safe place where no children can have it. But do something like that. I mean, that might be cool. That might be fun. Something different to just throw it in a box and just one of you reach and pick it out. Like,
we've done.
Oh my gosh! Okay, we're doing that. Let's go.
We talked about the cards.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't remember what they're called.
I don't either, but it's like almost like a game, like a card game. Mm-hmm. But it has a bunch of different things on there, and some of them are great conversation starters. Some of them get really deep into kind of your feelings and your emotions, and some of them are very, very sexual. Mm-hmm. But they're great conversation starters and great ways to kind of really get going.
Yes, because if the conversation is hard to have, that's a great way to break the ice on. Oh wait, you like that? I didn't know that.
I think I might like that too.
Let's try it.
And then we give it a shot. And then, hey, who knows what's going to happen from there? So, talk about...
Some of the questions are, what's your favorite place to kiss me? Mm-hmm. And,
what's your favorite part of my body?
Yeah. Be honest about it, because when we've gone through them, I've said, really? That's not what I thought. But... things do change.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, now that I know that, I'm going to make sure.
Use my assets to your weakness.
Absolutely. And it's fun.
It's
so much fun to desire each other in that way. That's what we all desire and we all need. Mm-hmm. So have those conversations with your spouse. If you're on mismatched, you one wants it more than the other, talk about it.
If you're on
If you're mismatched as far as how often you want it.
That just sounded like a dating app.
It does a little bit. Men, get more educated about how to please your wife. Listen, just because you're done doesn't mean she's done. Make sure she is able to get to the finish line. Do everything in your power to be able to get there. Non-sexual intimacy is huge, that type of touch. And then,
but women, you got to give it to your man.
You do. And then safe space to do whatever it is you desire to do. Make a little bucket list, put it in a jar, and go at it. Have fun.
What's the sex menu?
The sex menu. Go use the sex menu. Use the test kitchen.
Test kitchen. That's the word I was looking for.
You never know what you may like. All right, we got to go.
Let's go.
God, we love you. We are so thankful for what you do. We're thankful for sex. You created it, and it's incredible. And when it's done according to your plan and how you designed it, it's one of the greatest gifts that we have, and we're thankful for that. And we pray that every single person who's listening is doing that according to your design, because when we do anything to your design, it is only for the best, better than anything that we could have imagined, better than we could have done for ourselves, and we're thankful for that, Lord. We love you, and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Play ball.